This is the first session we have of the day of finance and insurance, so appreciate you being here. We've got about 40 minutes or so here since we got started a little bit late to talk through our programs. If you don't get it all, we'll be around afterwards. We've got another presentation after this, and I know we got some of our crop insurance and our finance staff that are sitting around the room here too, so feel free to ask any questions if you have it, or go down to our booths afterwards. So with that, we'll kick it off. Do a quick introductions. TJ Wilson, Director of Finance Sales for FBN Finance. I've been with FBN for 3 years, roughly. Prior to that, I was in the banking industry for 15 plus years, mainly focused in bank management and ag financing, all working with ag, rural community banks, typically. Live in Northeast Kansas, actively involved in a grain or a corn and soybean operation, a little bit of cattle. So I know what farmers are going through on a day-to-day basis. Hopefully it provides some good experience for how we can help provide the best products and services for our customers. So next, Don.
Don Moody, Sales Manager, FBN Insurance. Been in crop insurance 23 years. I actually was raised 6 hours straight west of here, but I live in the middle of Iowa. My big emphasis, and TJ has seen it, is cross-channel collaboration. A lot of you work with different business units within FBN, and there's a lot of things we can do together collectively to help your operation succeed and do better.
Hi everybody, Frank Newell, Director of Sales for Crop Insurance. Been in crop insurance 32 years now. The lion's share of my career has been with the Farm Bureau, and then another big portion was within the Farm Credit System. Been here since 19, and really an advocate for teamwork, really advocate of culture. So.
All right, so our agenda today on the finance side of things, we're just going to go a quick overview of what are our offerings. What's the ag lending landscape, why is FBN different, and what is our product set for you. Then I'm going to turn it over to these guys, let them talk about the crop insurance side. Is FBN crop insurance a fit for you? Talk about our tech tools a little bit. We're a data company at heart. We're going to build a lot of tools around crop insurance. And then we're going to quickly touch on our health insurance. So a lot of people don't know some of those offerings that we have, but we want to touch on them, make sure everybody's aware. So with that, I'm going to let them have the disclaimer here, because I don't have to deal with it.
We'll let you all read the fine print. Basically, it says that we will not discriminate. We do the best we can to protect your information. Any questions on it, we have it posted in our booth. We're going to buy everybody 3 minutes.
Yep. Okay. All right, FBN Finance. Let's talk a little bit about the ag lending landscape. As you can see right here, over the last 10 years, there's been a 30% decline in the number of ag banks. Consolidation is running rampant in the ag lending industry. You see it all the time. I'm sure you see it in your local communities. The smaller banks are being gobbled up. The larger banks are merging their forces, and we're seeing a less number of banks out there, which means less competition. What does less competition mean? We go to that second line. That means banks can make more profit. So 30% decline in the number of banks, 27% increase in their profits over the last 10 years. Banks are a great resource, they are, but FBN wants to do something a little bit different. I was at the ABA Bankers Conference a month ago, all ag bankers. One of the things I heard at that conference was kind of intriguing to me, which is counterintuitive to the FBN mission. Every bank I talked to said, we're having record profits this year. Unbelievable year, record profits. Well, what does that mean to our farmers? Are our farmers seeing those? Are they seeing those savings? Are they getting that passed down to them? No. So how can we do that different and provide that value back to our farmers in a better way? So as you can see, the last one, 81% increase in profits per ag bank. Huge, huge returns they're seeing right now. So we want to find a way to do that differently. Talked a little bit about that. Since 2010, I've seen the number of ag banks is shrinking drastically, going from almost 1,600 ag banks down to about 1,000 in that time period. So when there's less competition in your market, you see it with the co-ops, just like with FBN Direct. When there's less competition, they don't have to cater, they don't have to provide price breaks. So what is FBN Finance? We are an alternate lending source. So we are a competitor to the banks, we are a competitor to the Farm Credit System, any of your lending options out there. So we have funding to provide all across the gamut of your ag operation. We can do operating lines, land loans, equipment loans, and input financing. The one kind of weird term on there is farmland capital. We'll touch on that one a little bit later. That's a little bit different offering, but it's something that FBN has come up with to provide some real value back to the farmers that banks and other lenders can't do. What is FBN Finance? See right there, we're kind of the new lending solution out there. We are solely focused on agriculture. We're solely focused on the farmers. This is what we want to do. Great rates. As you can see with everything at FBN wide, we want to be transparent about our rates, and we want to give you the best cost that we possibly can. So we're going to be able to provide the best rates in the market. Simple process. We've seen a ton of applications coming in this week, and we appreciate everybody that's working with us. We're doing applications in the booth, 3 to 5 minutes, getting that process done very quickly, moving everybody through, letting you have a decision so that you can go on to manage your operation the way you need to. Exceptional service. I'm very proud of my team. I've got a team of 35 lenders that work with me. They all have over 15 years of experience. They are very dedicated to the ag industry. A lot of them are producers. A lot of them are lifetime ag lenders. This is what they want to do, is work with farmers day in and day out. This is a quick map of the business that we're doing at FBN. FBN is the new kid on the block in ag lending. So are we actually doing loans? Are we doing business? This is a map of where we have done business. This is a little bit old, probably a month or two old. But the orange dots are the operating loans. As you can see, we've got those spread all across the country. Land loans, the same thing. Pretty much anywhere and everywhere are offering these products. And then finally, the black dots are customers that are doing multiple lines with us. They're doing equipment, land loans, operating loans, all of the above. So we've got a pretty wide swath that we can do. We can do operating loans in all 50 states. We can do land loans in 47 of the 50 states. There are 3 states we cannot operate in currently, but pretty much anywhere else we can. All right, let's talk about the products here. Operating line. This is the big topic right here at Farmer to Farmer especially. As you see, we do have an operating line, 2 different programs, $100,000 to $1 million. This is our online application model. So this is a scorecard model that is through our website. You can fill this application out. Typically, we've seen somewhere between 3 and 7 minutes. And at the end of that application, you get an instant decision. You get your rate, and you get your decision. You're approved or denied. No waiting around the bank, no waiting around on the credit committee to decide what they want to do, to figure out where they should price you, what amount they should do for you, whether they should approve or deny it. You have the decision immediately. We have a fixed rate offering, so from the day you do that loan right now till it comes due March 1st, 24, that's fixed rate. If you don't want the fixed rate offering, we do have a variable option for you as well. So most farmers are probably used to a variable rate option with their operating loan. But we want to give you both choices, give you some options. We have seen, our team has done a fantastic job. We have seen those loans close same day while we're here at Farmer to Farmer. So we've gotten docs out to you via DocuSign, close those same day. I'd like to say I can commit to that all the time, but you never know how that goes. Last bullet point there, this is a key one for anybody interacting with Farmer to Farmer right now. You can qualify for 0% with your operating loan when you purchase from FBN Direct. Now, that does expire today. So this is something we've had going on the whole fall, all through Cyber November. We did set a deadline on that of December 9th. So if you have any interest in this, get down, talk to your direct AE or talk to our finance booth, and they'll work with you and get you qualified and get your orders in. The other product offering we have is going to be over $1 million. Right now, this is a traditional underwrite. We typically, these are not a scorecard deal. These are more of a full underwrite. We're going to collect financials. We're going to walk through your offering or your opportunities, see what makes sense for you. And this is crop insurance based. One key factor on both of these deals is that they are revolving. You see some other competitors in the space right now that are doing a lot of non-revolving lines of credit. We want to make sure this is a revolving line of credit, give you that flexibility you need through the growing season. Even on the $1 million to $5 million, we typically try to get a decision back within a week. So we don't want you sitting around waiting on us. We collect the information we need. We've got a great underwriting team that's going to get through that, and they're going to give you a decision back as soon as they can. So this is kind of a little overview of the offering that we talked about. You can get 0%. This is for lines from $250,000 to $1 million. You can use it for your FBN inputs. You can check out in the store. So if you have an operating line with us, you can use your operating line as a payment method within FBN.com in the direct store, so you don't have to worry about advances or anything like that back and forth to pay for those inputs. You can use these operating lines for any other ag expenses, whether that's labor, repairs, rent, anything that you need to operate your farm. Comes due March 1st, 24. And I think that's really the overview. So to qualify for that 0% on your operating line for the entire year, you do have to purchase $45,000 worth of direct. If you've already purchased that much with direct, you'll still qualify. It's any payment method. So you just need to get your operating loan set up, approved and accepted, and then the team can work on getting that closed for you, and you qualify for 0% all year long. It's a little side-by-side comparison. So you hear input financing, some of you are familiar with that. FBN previous years was really big into the input financing space. We launched the operating loan to kind of coincide with that. Operating loan, just as you can see, just has a lot more options. It's a little more flexible. It's revolving. You can do more with it and still have the benefit of that 0% offer from FBN Direct. We're just going to kind of run through some screenshots here. As we talked about, simple online application, instant decision. This is what it's going to look like. If you go through that operating line, this is the decision it's going to look like at the end. It's going to give you, hey, you're approved. Here's a dollar amount you got approved for, whatever you applied for. It's going to tell you what the interest rate is on your direct purchases, and then it's going to give you the interest rate on anything else that you purchase outside of that. So, that is going to be the fixed rate offer that you see. If you want the variable rate offer, you just got to ask. So the team will have that readily available for you and be able to get you that variable rate offer. All right, land loans. Land loans is really where we started. We are aggressively growing our land loan portfolio. We can do farm real estate loans, as I mentioned, 47 states, anywhere from a 1-month adjustable, variable rate, 5-year adjustable like you're used to at most banks, all the way to 30-year fixed rates. We have full gamut of offerings when it comes to that. We can interact with FSA programs, beginning farmer programs, anything that's out there available, anything that any other lender can do, we can do, typically a little bit better, a little bit faster. So same application process, fills out pretty quick. We do have our own in-house appraisers, so that helps the process a little bit, and working on a number of different things with the network to be able to speed this process up. Real estate loans are never quick, so how can FBN use the data and our technology to be able to drive that sooner? This is a land calculator that we have built here in the last year. Gives you a great side-by-side comparison in our website. You can figure out how much that you're wanting to borrow and not sure what product set you want to do or what amortization that you want to do it in. It's going to give you those side-by-side comparisons. As you can see at the top there, it says a 10-year variable, 30-year fixed, and I think a 5-year variable. That is a drop-down. When you fill this out, it's going to ask you some questions. What is your priority? Is it the lowest rate? Is it the lowest payment? Is it the longest term? What is longest fixed rate? What do you want? It's going to custom build a set of products for you that fit your criteria that you're going to want and make the most sense for you. But it's also going to give you the flexibility to do a drop down up there, say, hey, maybe I want to try the 15-year variable. Maybe I want to do a 20-year fixed instead of this one. And you can do that entire comparison to look at what makes the most sense for you and tailor that for your operation. Let me step back here on land loans before we go. So the other thing that we are doing here at Farmer to Farmer, I was supposed to do it last night, didn't get time to do it in the main hall. We are doing a promo, $1,000 back at closing on any land loan, any application that is filled out here at Farmer to Farmer. So if you fill out an application here at Farmer to Farmer, it takes you a couple months to close, which we understand it might, whether it's a purchase or a refinance or anything that you have going on. You will get $1,000 back on your fees at closing. So if you have anything potentially going, get down to the team, at least fill out that application. It doesn't commit you to anything, but get you entered into that $1,000 promo, and you close it whenever you can. So. All right, this is kind of the tricky one here. This is the new product on the block. Farmland Capital. This is what banks can't do. As a non-regulated institution like FBN Finance is, we can come up with things that make sense for farmers. One of the biggest challenges for farmers out there is when you're buying real estate, who are you competing against? Sometimes it's other farmers. It's outside money a lot of time. It's investors, it's outside money. How can we take that outside money and use it to benefit farmers and not compete against farmers? So we came up with Farmland Capital. I think one of our Peppo, who's on our team, I think he was out here earlier, but We created this product. He manages this product for us. It is a minority co-investment into a farm is what it is. So you have a farm, you're like, hey, I want to get some equity out of that ground, but I don't want to borrow against it. The investor money can come in, which FBN manages. We can put this into the farm for you, inject this capital into your farm, and there's no payments on that. What it is a share in the change in value of that farm over a 10-year period, up to a 10-year period. The investor fund is just playing on appreciation. That's all they're playing on. So they do not require any annual payments. The farmer's on the deed, the farmer owns the farmer manages the farm however they see fit. It's just a way for them to get additional capital out of that farm without having to make payments on it, and they're just riding the valuation of the ground. Now, the benefit of this is they're going to share in the upside, they're also going to share in the downside. If the farm value goes down, the fund loses money, and they're okay taking that risk. They're okay putting themselves in a position because they feel like land value is a great investment. They want to hold some land, they want exposure to land, but they don't want to have to own and manage a single farm. So this is a way for them to get exposure to ground. We can benefit farmers by providing capital to them in a different way. The farmers really don't take a lot of risk. So if land values go up, you benefit too, because your values and your balance sheet goes up. So this is a very intriguing product with interest rates where they are right now, 7, 8, 9%. This is a great product offering for you to think about. So a lot better than making payments on an 8% 30-year fixed loan right now. That's the biggest one, Farmland Capital. If you have any interest, want any more information, talk to our team on this. Sit down, look through some scenarios. We got some calculators on it. Makes sense to run through. Equipment financing, traditional equipment financing. You know, you got the Ag Directs, the JDFs of the world. Everybody out there has some equipment programs. We're no different. We wanted to have this product offering for our customers. Scorecard application up to $350,000. Our rates are competitive with Ag Direct. We typically get a turnaround time on an application within a couple hours. It's not instant yet. We're working on that. We can do anything across the board as far as new, gently used equipment and lease options. So most of our rate options are fixed rate. Right now, like I said, neck and neck with Ag Direct, who's kind of the leader in the market, and a full array of lease options. So the leases get into a little bit more complex situations, but we do have those at our disposal. And as I mentioned, with rates where they are right now, and depending on your tax situation, a lease may make more sense for you. So I think that's the overview of FBN Finance. Just kind of reiterate, we've got the promo right now and the 0% offering that's going through today. So if you got any questions, have any interest in that, make sure to talk to my team or get down to our booth and talk to them, see what they can do. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Don.
All right. Thank you, sir. So FBN Crop Insurance was created 4 years ago,
Yes.
5 years ago, to complement what the other business units bring to farmers. So you're going to see a little bit different from us. And what I mean by that is typically crop insurance is all the same. A crop insurance policy, federal crop insurance, the coverages are dictated, the premium is dictated. A lot of things are set in stone, folks think. You're going to see today just a quick presentation by Frank and I how we do it differently. There are actually a vast array of menu options. Typically it's been an emotional component that has led you to the coverage you've chosen. A lot of times it's been what did your neighbor do, what did the guy you talk with do, not what your specific operation ought to do based on your specific operations data. You're going to hear a lot about that from us this morning, that we want to take it from an emotional component, emotional-driven decision on what crop insurance coverages and options you choose to a data-driven one based on your operation. You know, a quick quote, crop insurance is one of FBN's actual most important product and service offerings. It helps to mitigate risk, manage an operation, ensure that your farm will exist tomorrow, the one that's operating today. It is essential and benchmark of the services that we provide. And one of the things we've started to say to folks is, you know, you select a good finance option, you work with the seed and chem folks to get the best agronomic products booked available. You work with Frank's team to come up with the best insurance option to make sure, again, in the case of a natural disaster or a peril, that you're actually able to operate next year. We're a licensed insurance agency. We sell multi-peril crop insurance and private products. Again, our mission is to change the way farmers think about and select their insurance coverages. We want that decisions built on an experience backed by our technology and our network and our professionals. It's all about the folks. What's our mission? Personalized, smart, and simple. There's a gentleman I used to work with that always said if it's getting complicated, someone's being taken advantage of. Again, we try to keep it transparent, simple, personalized. So what happens up to this point and where are we headed? So, and again, not picking on our peer groups, but usually there's a lack of transparency. All too often, an agent or an agency will just simply say, what did you do last year? Doing anything different? Well, I'll go ahead and send the application over for next year. You know, this last year was a classic example in what commodity prices did. The spring price and the fall prices for crops were significantly different, which meant there was significantly more liability at risk, and you probably ought to sit down and look at it. There's a lot of clunky forms and reporting processes. I mean, everybody in this room is used to keeping track of their production. It's gone from seed corn books to notepads to your monitors to your Bluetooth, but oftentimes that technology has stopped with you. They're inconsistent knowledge and service, and what I mean by that, there's a lot of good agencies in the Midwest, but they tend to do everything. We tend to focus. We have agents scattered across the U.S. You'll see that in a little bit, but we also have folks that specialize in different areas, and they work together as a team to bring the best product to you. And oftentimes, and this was a pain point for me in another life, there was no technology. Farmers have been, and I'm talking to you, you've been utilizing technology for years and years and years. Crop insurance has not kept up nor been a willingly accepting of all that, and we could be. So what do we do differently? We are data-driven. TJ mentioned it. You've heard it from the agronomists and different folks you've worked with the last 2.5 days. We can and do have automated reporting, paperless processes. We do what's best for you. We don't say, what does your neighbor do? What did you do last year? It's what does your APH say as far as a trend you're going? Perhaps what products would work best. We try to do some long-range weather modeling with some of our folks we work with, again, to put together that best risk mitigation process possible, and it can be done online. A little bit about our products. You know, we offer the traditional products, obviously, the revenue protection, margin protection. I want to pause a second for Whole Farm. Whole Farm's been around for a long, long time. We have a lot of agents that are good at it. We have a couple agents that specialize in it, that work with our agents that perhaps don't have the experience or the knowledge base, but the moral of the story is it brings the best service to you and what works best for you also. Pasture rangeland forage is part of our options for you, and then we do an awful lot with the livestock coverages, LGM, LRP, DRP, and actually on the private side, mortality. Private products, wind, hail, ramp, price flex, price select. We have agents that have built out modeling systems that do a nice job as far as, again, doing an analytical approach on what would work best on your operation based on what you are doing. Parametric coverages are out there. They're available. Some work, some don't. Long story short, it goes back to sitting down and spending a moment with you and doing the math. And again, what works best. You will see products come out from FBN future forward. We have a team that actually works on that to see, again, what is not offered that ought to be. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Frank.
Sure. Thanks, Don. First of all, appreciate everyone being in here. We're obviously in the risk mitigation business, and as producers, you all understand that's a big part of what you do. Just touch on some tools we have here as just continuing momentum with what Don said. We can get as sophisticated or as simple as you want. Everybody's a little bit different. Just a couple visuals here without getting into the weeds. But we want to be able to compare some things for you to give you a full-blown analysis. Rainfall Optimizer is a tool that we developed. We used it almost exclusively here out in front of December 1st to help make those decisions, take the emotional components out of it. Farmer's Almanac is great, but it's probably not what you should be using as a tool with respect to rainfall on your operation. We have the ability, it's amazing, to sit down on any specific field, go back and look at the rainfall on a per day basis since the 40s. It's amazing. So stuff like that really helps you make a decision. Then also we wanted to model risk a little bit, maybe do a little benchmarking. The decision that some of you are making is a percentage based on what your agent told you. It's a decision based on probably what your dad may have told you 15 years ago. It may be what Joe said at the diner. Those days are over. Each one of you have your own tolerance to risk. Each of you have your own situations for which you need protection. So we need to really dig into that with each of you as an individual. So what is the InsurTech system? What is the platform? We want to be that conduit where all the information comes in and we're able to utilize it to go to the FSA, to maybe look at some reinsurance items. We obviously protect your data. The reality is you're sharing that data already with FSA, and it makes absolutely no sense to why you cannot come to us for one-stop processing with the FSA. We're working on that. Pretty archaic industry, pretty archaic in some of their thought processes, but they're starting to realize the power of what we can do. But we want to source all that data from agronomy to weather, markets, your risk profile, pulled into the hopper of our network. Be very, very careful in preserving it for each of you, but being able to send it back out to FSA. The accuracy program, some of you are familiar with in Iowa, did not work very good because FSA and the government does not have the ability, technology, or the funds to make it work. We're going to make it work. The mobile app, super duper excited about this. Charles touched on it a little bit yesterday. The 4 areas are within your account. Not going to have anybody show hands or mention it, but being from the finance world with TJ as well for a while, Friday afternoon you just remember that you got to go see TJ or your banker on Monday morning. He's going to ask you for a schedule of insurance. You tried to get a hold of your agent for that schedule of insurance. 90 times out of 10, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get a hold of him. Why can't you go into your phone or your app, click on your account, pull up your schedule of insurance? Hey, honey, we don't have a very good stand on the home place. Do you have any idea what type of history we have on that? I don't know. Call the agent. Good luck. Why can't you go to your phone? APH on that's 110 bushel. So not to get into a whole lot of the weeds here, but that's where it's going, and that's what we're going to deliver to each of you. Just a few things here. I kind of got ahead of myself, but you're going to be able to see these things within the app. Summary of coverage. What do we have the same percentage on corn as we do on beans? What's the level? Detailed production history. All that stuff is going to be at your fingertips. AIPs are the insurance companies. Great American, Agrisampo, NAU, just to rain in hell, just to give you some names. A couple of those are already exchanging that information with us. The other ones will get to the party here very quickly. Just a quick snapshot. We insure just about everything. It's great to come to this and see all the different commodities and everything that's out there that's available. Corn, soybeans, yes, of course that, but we've got fresh cut flowers. We do hazelnuts. Bamboo. We wrote our first bamboo policy, very vertically integrated organization, from making laminate flooring to drapes to linens. So bamboo, very interesting. But we just want to put this in here, just, we can handle it all. Acronyms are what it's all about in the crop insurance world. So we just want to demonstrate here that we can handle every policy that's out there. This is key. You need to make sure your agent or your agency has the expertise to explain all of these to you. SCO, ECO is probably going to be a decent option in most, I don't want to say every place, but in a lot of places. You need to be asking your agent to talk to you about SCO and ECO to see if it can work for your operation. If they don't know, call us or make sure you get the help that you need on that. We don't want that to be an opportunity that may get lost. Privileged to work with, I have 45 agents for which I serve. We have W-2 agents, which are full-time employees. We have 1099 agents that might also have other interests, but also help us with crop insurance to make sure we get our reach out. We have 15 processing and sales support folks. We have centralized processing. We bring it all in. It goes to a central location to be processed. We have underwriters, we have processors, we have keyers, we have vast knowledge in that area. They are familiar with the area for which your policy is in. So if 25 bushel beans come in and they have an idea that probably should be 52 bushel beans, which happens a lot, they're able to catch that and get it straight for you. Crazy number of years of experience, and we have specialists in every single crop. A couple of them are in here. Courtney's with us up here in front in Missouri, does a lot of stuff with hemp, does a lot of those products that you're hearing a lot about, but maybe a lot of people aren't too familiar with. So that's kind of the crop insurance piece of it. We also want to touch on FBN Health. Jody was going to be here. The reality is she has had a line, I think, for the 3 days that we have been here. We have worked really, really hard to bring this to you because, unfortunately, producers are in a class that's right up there with butchers and roofers when it comes to trying to get some sort of health coverage. Just some quick highlights here. You can see it on there. Any questions at all about that, get down to our booth. Visit with her. Available in 50 states, can write a one person as an employee policy. Got different options. The network is nationwide. Telemedicine visits. So this type of coverage rivals any of the big coverages that are out there. So any questions on FBN Health, make sure you reach out to her. Come by finance booth, of course, come by your crop insurance booth. The only challenge that I would have in the crop insurance world is whether it's with us or it's with your agent, make sure you're asking the questions. If you're not being contacted by your agent at least 4 times a year, then you're probably not getting the service that you need. You need to be visiting with them outside of sales closing date, which is going to be March 15th. You need to make sure that your harvested production has been turned in from last year. You need to sit down with them and go through your acreage reports, and then they need to be communicating with you if there's potential for a claim. One more thing I want to touch on here too, and we had to consolidate some slides, but the precision planning is something that we are very, very good at. So it's getting very, very close. We're almost there in some respects where you do your job in the tractor, you push a button, it's sent to the JD cloud, we pull it back out, and we can do all your reporting for there. So with that, I think that concludes our presentations, and would love to have any questions, any comments from anybody.
Got a question out there? Yep, let's get you a microphone there. Baby? Is that mic on? Yeah, so, I mean, he was asking how are operating loans secured? So we have different levels on that right now. Basically, we're taking an ag blanket. Most of you are familiar with that. We're taking an ag blanket lien. The grain, if you have livestock, we're taking that. We do not take equipment as collateral on these deals. The other thing we don't do on our loans is we don't put joint party checks. We don't put our names on checks on anything. We want to make it flexible for you. We're not a bank. We don't have a checking account. So we're not sitting there to be able to take that name off the check immediately. So we don't want to have farmers go through that hassle. We appreciate the business you're doing with us. We trust you to do the right thing with us. So we want to give you that flexibility, and then you can just pay it after you deposit the check. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was concerned about.
Yep.
Second question I had was, what is the current rate on the variable on the operating?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The current rate on the variable?
Current rate on the variable, lowest rate we have right now is 6.4. So starting out at 6.4 goes up to the mid-8s right now. If you look at prime, if you want to compare it to prime, prime's at 7%. So a little below prime to about 1.5 above prime right now. Mm-hmm. Any questions here, right behind you?
With your security, if you have a current operating loan, can you, how can I say, partner up or have a second operating loan alongside of it for, more incidentals, or is there a way to, partner with that?
Yeah, so we have a cutoff point. $500,000 is our cutoff point. If you get 501, we have to be in a first position on your grain. So we can work with other banks. They can potentially subordinate the grain to us. We have done that on a lot of scenarios. If you're $500,000 and below, we just file the best available lien. So we'll file a lien right behind them. Most banks are okay with that unless they have special language in their documents that don't allow you to do that. So as long as they're okay with that, we'll file a second lien behind theirs on $500,000 and below. Any other questions? I know finance and insurance aren't the most riveting topics in the world.
No one fell asleep.
But I appreciate you guys joining us. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions, we've got some staff around the room. Don't hesitate to ask. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, are we live here? Sounds like it. Oh. All right, we're going to kick off session number 2 here. Thanks everybody for joining us. I know financing crop insurance are the most riveting topics. Everybody's excited about it, so we'll try not to put you to sleep. So we'll kind of run through a few things here. I'm going to do quick introductions, and then we'll kind of kick it off. So introducing myself, TJ Wilson, I'm the Director of Sales for FBN Finance. I've been at FBN for 3 years now. Prior to that, was in the banking industry for 15 plus years, primarily working in bank management, ag lending, really focused on the ag side of things. Based out of Northeast Kansas, hour and 45 minutes straight south of here, actively involved in a corn and soybean operation down there with my wife's family. So try to keep my pulse on agriculture as much as I possibly can and try to understand what farmers are doing day in and day out.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I guess I can hold
Yeah, Don Moody, Sales Manager, Crop Insurance Division for Farmers Business Network. I grew up on a corn soybean cattle operation in north central Nebraska, immigrated to Iowa a number of years ago, live in the middle of the state, 23 years experience in crop insurance. I've been with FBN for a wee bit now. I like it. You'll see a lot of emphasis for me, cross-channel collaboration, making sure that the experience you have is what you ought to from us as we integrate with other divisions and units.
Frank Newell, 33 years in crop insurance. Spent the majority of my time within the with Farm Bureau and then in the farm credit system. Been here since 2019.
Yep, didn't even go to your picture, Frank. Nobody wants to see it anyway. All right, let's talk a little bit about the agenda here. So we're going to go through finance first. We're going to talk a little bit of overview of the ag lending landscape. Who are the players? What's it look like out there? Second, we're going to talk about, why is FBN Finance different? Why choose us? And then we're going to go into the products. So, where are we doing business and how are we doing business? Then we're going to turn it over to Frank and Dawn. They're going to talk a little bit about, is FBN Crop Insurance the right fit? Talk about our tech tools. We're a data company. We're a tech company at heart. So we're going to build the right tools for the farmers to help them make the right decisions. And then lastly, we're going to touch on just our health insurance offering. A lot of people don't know we have it. So let's touch on that and make sure that you're aware of what we have. All right, there's a quick disclaimer for FBN Finance. I'm not going to read through all that for you, but save you a little bit of time there. All right, FBN Finance. I think this is the key factor. This is a very powerful slide, and we'll talk about this a little bit. So ag banks are continuing to consolidate. In the last 10 years, you've seen a 30% decline in ag banks. The consolidation continues to ramp up. You're seeing the smaller banks being swallowed up. You're seeing the bigger banks merge their resources together to get even bigger. What does that happen? What happens when they merge and we see less? There's less competition. So when there's less competition, they can charge more, they can make more money. You're seeing that on these next 2 bullet points right now. Its increase in their profits is 27% over the last 10 years in just the agricultural banks as a whole. On an individual basis, the increase in the profits per ag bank in the last 10 years, 81%. Have your profits increased 81% in 10 years? I don't think so. Mine haven't. So looking at that is, the big question is, are any of those profits being passed on to the farmer? These ag banks are making a lot of money. Is that being passed down? Probably not. So I had a little story earlier in our previous session. I was right here at the same spot, the Ag Bankers Conference last week, and let's just say FBN Finance is not loved in the banking industry right now because we're providing more competition. But every bank I talked to there, one of the key factors was, how's this year going? Record profits. We're seeing record profits this year. Best year we've ever had. It's going to be amazing. It's given us so much opportunity. We're going to see record profits. Well, my problem is the farmers aren't getting that. So it's not getting passed down. Rates continue to go up. Banks' margins continue to increase. This is just another visual on this. The last 10 years went from almost 1,600 ag banks. We're down to 1,000. This continues to get smaller. I know some banks in my local area, they're continuing to merge and get swallowed up. So the competition is only going to get less. All right, so what is FBN Finance? We're the alternative. So, you've got your banks, you got your farm credits, or another player in that space. We've got your operating lines. We've talked a lot about this. Amal's touched on it. Devin's touched on it. Charles has touched on it. This is a great offering for us right now. We'll touch on the details later. Land loans, traditional real estate financing. Farmland capital, that's a proprietary product for FBN. As a non-regulated institution, like banks and farm credits are regulated, they have to focus solely on lending products. We can develop products that make more sense for farmers, something that plays into their operation a little bit more effectively and more efficiently. Then your traditional equipment loans and input financing. So everybody's pretty familiar with input financing as well. All right, so what are we? We're the new kids on the block. We're the new ag lending solution out there. Our goal, like FBN, is to return profitability to the family farms. We want to provide those benefits to them. Got great rates. Use the power of the network. Use our resources to provide those savings to farmers. We're going to continue to do that. Some of our rates are some of the lowest in the industry right now. So we're going to continue to try to drive that benefit. Simple process, as anybody's seen right now. We're doing, if they filled out an application with us recently, it takes somewhere between 3 and 7 minutes to fill out an application. Very simple process. You can do everything through our website effectively. Exceptional service. I'll speak very highly of my team. I've got a couple of them in here, a couple down here. I think there's one in the back over here as well. We've got over 15 years worth of ag lending experience across our team on average. I've got 35 loan advisors and members of my team that are out there working with customers day in and day out across the country. All right, where are we doing business? You can see from this map right now, we've done business pretty much everywhere. FBN Finance was launched at Farmer to Farmer in 2019, officially, is when we launched that division. We didn't really start doing loans until March of 2020. You can see where we've done a lot of business in that short amount of time. We do operating and land loans. All the black dots are loans that people that have both products with us. So a good space there. We can pretty much operate operating loans all 50 states. We have done a loan in Alaska. Haven't gotten Hawaii yet, but we're working on it. And then the land loans, we can offer that in 47 states. There are 3 states we cannot operate in, but operating loans we can do anywhere, and equipment loans we can do anywhere. All right, let's get into the details here. The operating loan, the one we've really been focused on during this show, and we'll continue to focus on going forward, is our $1 million and less operating loan. So this is a scorecard operating loan. Typically this application is on our website. You can work with one of my team members to do it. If you want to, we see this somewhere between 3 and 6 minutes it takes to fill this application out. In that 3 to 6 minutes, as soon as you're done, as soon as you hit submit, you're going to have a decision, you're going to have a rate. We'll get into some of those picture slides later so that you can see what that looks like. As soon as you're done, you're going to have a rate. After you get that rate, you can choose whether you're going to accept or decline that offer. It's up to you. We're going to give you the best offer we can give you right then and there. We believe in full transparency. So you're going to get that offer. If you want to accept that, we're going to move to closing. We have closed loans at this show in less than 2 hours. Application to signing of docs. I won't commit my team to that all the time. I hope they can hold that kind of standard, but doing a lot of volume, that's tough, but they are able to get those docs out pretty quick. So we do have fixed rate offerings. The offer you will see is fixed rate. We do have variable rate on the back end. If you want a variable rate offering, we can look at that as well. The biggest thing that we've seen this year about the operating line, as you see on the last bullet point, it is connected to FBN Direct and 0% financing. Now the plug I'll make on that is that the 0% financing does have an offer that expires today. We ran it through the trade show here. So you have to get approved and accept an operating loan, and we'll go into details. You have to put in an order for $45,000 in product or more. That'll give you 0% on all your purchases all year with FBN. The other thing about this product is it matures March of 24. So it's a fixed rate offer. You could have that fixed rate for over a year, potentially up to 15, 18 months, depending on when you took out the loan. Not a lot of people are offering a fixed rate offer that long right now on operating loans. The next offer, or the program we have, is $1 million to $5 million. This is our next bucket up. This is going to be more of a little traditional underwrite. So we got to collect financials, we got to collect crop insurance information, and we have to underwrite those deals. What we commit to doing is still a fast turnaround. We're going to try to turn you an answer in less than a week on those. Most banks I know are still struggling to turn decisions that fast, let alone try to close them that fast. So we are pretty adamant that we're going to try to do that. That is only a variable rate offering. We do not have a fixed rate on those products, and it is going to be based on your crop insurance guarantee amount. You see some other lenders out there that will do loans based on your crop insurance guarantee, but those are non-revolving. Our revolving line sets us apart a little bit there. We feel very confident about that product, and the rates seem to be pretty competitive. This is a little overview of the 0% offering. You can use this within FBN Direct. You go into FBN Direct, you want to buy your chemical. When you go to check out, you just click Use Your Operating Loan. It'll automatically advance off your operating loan, pay for the supplies that you're buying, and then you can set up your shipping. So the terms on the 0%, right now you do get 0% on your purchases. If you take out an operating loan, you get 0% on your purchases through January 20th. But if you want to get 0% on all your purchases after January 20th and in season, you have to qualify today with a $45,000 purchase. A little side-by-side comparison here for you. Everybody's familiar with the input loans FBN's historically had. We rolled to the operating loan offering for FBN Direct this year. Some of the key benefits obviously are with the operating loan, you can do a lot more flexibility, a lot more options. Yeah, you still get the benefit of 0% with your FBN Direct purchases. And there is a benefit of a couple extra months before you have to pay it back, January versus March. All right, so here's some of the screenshots of what the application, the decisioning looks like. Obviously, simple online application. We want to get that decision to you, immediately. Let you apply, get that decision out to you immediately so you can have more time back to make decisions on your operation. We can do that up to $1 million. This is what it's going to look like when you're done. You're going to get, hey, you're approved for a loan. Here's your amount. Here's your rate. At the bottom of this, it's going to tell you you want to approve or accept this offer. Once you accept this offer, it's going to ask you to basically upload your driver's license, any entity docs that you might have, so that we can prepare loan documents at that time. It's going to give you the details on it. The rate offering is the fixed rate offering. If you want the variable rate offer, we just got to talk to one of our loan team, get that put in place for you. All right, land loans. Everybody's familiar with that. We're not going to be, as far as product offerings on this, we're not going to be a lot different than everybody else. Traditional real estate offerings, any ag real estate, improvements, things like that. We can do a lot of different things, purchases, refinances, cash out, however you want to, debt consolidations, however you want to look at it. We work with FSA programs if you need to. We work with a number of different types of programs that are out there. We're going to have anything from a short-term adjustable rate all the way to a 30-year fixed rate. Seem to be pretty competitive. Everybody says Farm Credit's the most competitive out there when it comes to these types of rates. What I have seen is we are neck and neck with them, even if you net out the patronage in most of those situations. Every territory is different, but we've seen most scenarios we've been pretty competitive. Tool we built this year is a land calculator. We know you have a lot of decisions to make, so we want to provide the resources that you need to make better decisions, make easier decisions. So you go through the land calculator, you fill out the information that you need to fill out there. It's going to ask you, what are your priorities? Do you just want the lowest rate? Do you want the longest term? Do you want the lowest payment? What is your goal with this loan? And then it's going to custom build 3 options that we feel like are the best for your scenario. It's going to pick the 3 products that we think are the best. And then it's also got in the top there, those are going to be drop downs. If you're like, I really don't like the 10-year variable, I want to look at a different option and compare. You can pick a different product out there and compare it with it, and it's going to give you all the details you need to make the proper decision on that loan. Farmland Capital, this is the product I talked about that is a proprietary product to us. We developed it. Regulated institutions can't typically offer this product because it is an equity product and not a loan. So this is what we call a co-investment. This is a way for farmers to get equity out of the ground. Farmers' land is their savings account. I mean, if you know most operations, land rich, cash poor, their savings account is their land. So how can we get equity out of that farm without hurting the operation and still giving them some upside? So what the fund would come in and do is make an equity injection to this farm. It's a silent equity injection, silent partner. The farmer is the deed, or is on the deed. They manage the farm, they own the farm, it's their farm. Basically what the fund is doing is sharing in the change in value of this farm over a 10-year period. So if the farm value goes up, the fund gets a little bit of that upside appreciation. If farm value goes down, the fund shares in that downside loss. So it's a risk mitigant for a farmer. But the other benefit of this is there's no payments, there's no interest. So if you, at these 8%, 9% rates that people are seeing out there, like I really don't want to make a payment on a 20 or 30-year fixed rate at 8%, this is a way that you can get the money you need and not have to make payments or try to cash flow it. And so there's a potential, land values don't change, you get to use that money free for 10 years. You still have to pay back the initial investment, but no cost to it. So, there are a lot of options out there, and it's not the right fit for everybody, but it is the right fit for a lot of operations, especially in the times we're in right now. Use it to grow, use it to get cash out of your operation, use it to help with the down payment, use it for family transitions. There's a ton of use cases for this product out there. If you have any interest in learning more about this product, definitely talk to me, talk to one of my team members are here, they get down to our booth, run through some scenarios. We got some calculators down there. We can talk through a number of different scenarios. I'm excited about this product. You can't get too excited about land loans and operating loans too much. They're kind of boring, especially crop insurance stuff. But this is a product I'm excited about. I feel like it's got a lot of opportunity to help farmers. It's a way that farmers' biggest competitor out there in a lot of markets is the investor. So how can we take their money, use it to your benefit, and not let them compete against you in a lot of scenarios? All right, equipment financing. Equipment financing is fairly traditional. So everybody has it, AgDirect, JDF. You see it all over the place. So very similar offering across the board. We can do a scorecard application up to $350,000, application only. Typically to get a decision back within a couple hours, and then really just need a purchase order to be able to close that. So we can close them pretty quick, or depending on getting the purchase order back, and all the information we need depends on how long we can close them. Fixed rate offers, we can be very flexible on the payment terms. The other thing that we don't have on here, but obviously it's just very complex, is lease offerings. We got a full array of lease offerings out there, so we can do pretty much anything when it comes to equipment leasing. So something to look at as well. Depends on your tax situation, depends on interest rates. Leasing may be the right choice for you. Before I hand it over, I think this is my last slide before I hand it over. The one thing I wanted to touch on with real estate financing is we are running a promo right now as well. Apply at Farmer to Farmer, get $1,000 back at closing. That's a promo for anybody at Farmer to Farmer right now. Apply now if you want to. It takes a couple minutes to apply. If you're not going to close it for 60, 90, 120 days, that's okay. Get your application in right now, get the process started. We know real estate loans take a little while with appraisals and everything. And that's the other thing we've really focused on as a team, is trying to build out some appraisal efficiency. We've got on-staff appraisers. We're building out data and models to be able to improve that process and make it more efficient. So if you got any questions for me or my team, we'll have some questions at the end. I'll be around, or we can go down to our booth. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Don.
All right. Thank you, TJ. So Frank and I are here for the crop insurance division. We'll cover a little bit about what we do, how we do, what makes us different, why you would want to go down and interact with one of Frank and I's team members. So with that, there's a conception out there, and part of it's true, crop insurance is all the same, and the actual policies are. The coverages are the same, the premium is the same on the federal products, but actually there are a vast array of menu options that can be tailor-fitted to your individual operation. Typically, most crop insurance is an emotional component. You get it from somebody you know, somebody that you grew up with, somebody down the road that says, hey, I do this, do it with me. We want to change that and turn it into a data-driven decision based off your specific operation, not what your neighbor's doing, not what another family member's doing, but what your actual operation is doing and what your individual risks are. Real quickly, crop insurance is one of FBN's most important product and service offerings. It helps to mitigate risk, manage an operation, and ensure that a family farm that is operating today will be operating into the future. It is essential and a benchmark of services that can be provided to a producer to ensure that their risk is managed properly. And basically, in a nutshell, you pick the best financing package, you work with the folks downstairs on your agronomic packages. You need to come to us to make sure that your revenue potential is protected. We are a licensed insurance agency selling all multiple or crop insurance and private products. We are in 50 states, I believe. Our mission is to change the way farmers think about and select their insurance coverages through a service built on experience and backed by the FBN network and technology, and we'll get into that a little bit. Our mission, personalized, smart, and simple. There's no reason for it to be complicated. It needs to be transparent and geared to your operation. Existing agencies, there's typically a lack of transparency, and what I mean by that is oftentimes you'll get a phone call, an email, or an ask to come into an appointment saying, hey, it's renewal time. Are you doing anything different this year than you did last? No, I'm not. Okay, we'll need to sign the renewal application. Well, there's a lot that changes in crop insurance. You know, the spring price went up, what, $2.50, $3 in a year? That's significantly different revenue protection that's needed. Oftentimes there's clunky forms and reporting processes. You keep track of your acres planted, your production harvested, and then you have to report that in twice a year. There's a better way to do it. Inconsistent knowledge and services. We pride ourselves on our 40-plus agents that know their stuff, but within that, we have a group of select agents that specialize in different areas of crop insurance. A lot of our agents actually farm and or run cattle, so they're in tune with what's going on. And in a typical agency, there's minimal, if any, technology. You all out in the room are probably on your 4th or 5th generation of technology you're using in your planters and combines. A lot of insurance agencies are not familiar with the Generation 1. So what do we do? So we are data driven. We want to be focused on what your operation is doing, and your APHs are the key to that. Reporting processes can and ought to be automated, and they should be paperless. And then again, what's best for you, not what someone else is doing, not what we might think is easiest, but what's actually best for your specific operation. And again, we can do all that online. We offer the array of federal products: revenue protection, margin protection, whole farm, pasture rangeland forage, livestock. I want to pause a moment. We have a couple agents that actually author blog posts and how-tos on ECO, SCO, on margin protection, on whole farm. We have 2 of the finer agents, I would say, in the U.S. as far as a knowledge base and how to put a protection package together for you. We offer the private products, hail, wind being the most common in the Midwest, ramp, price flex, price select, livestock mortality, all to fit a specific need for a specific operation. There are parametric coverages available. Again, not always best for everyone, but you need to know they exist. And then stay tuned with us for products that we will release. We have a full product development team that's always looking for ways to better protect operations. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Mr. Frank Newell.
Sure. Thanks, Don. Just a couple more points here, and kind of just supporting what Don was saying is we want to provide you with tools to make the best decisions that you can. Too many decisions are made out of emotions. They're not made out of good, solid information. So these are just a couple videos a couple snapshots of what we use. We want to make sure we do some analysis that does some comparison for you. Rainfall Optimizer is a product we developed. We used it this year out in front of December 1st to help folks make the best pasture, rangeland, and forage decision. And then a little bit of risk modeling against benchmarking. We can get as simple or as sophisticated as you want. You can see on the right there the risk modeling piece. Sometimes it's as simple as, Frank, get me in as much green as you can. So we can make it easy, or we can make it very sophisticated. What is this InsurTech platform, and what are we doing to change it? To maybe disrupt a little bit to what is currently going on out there. We want to kind of be that hub in the middle for which everything flows. On the left there, you can see all sorts of data, where it comes from. We want it to come into our platform. Then we can use it to distribute information out to FSA. It makes absolutely no sense right now that you report your crop insurance to your agent, then you turn around and report the same exact information to the FSA. So we're doing some things on the backside to marry that process much better, make it much more efficient. It's the same information. Mobile app, this is what is really, really exciting for us. We've worked very, very hard on this. Charles mentioned it a little bit in his presentation yesterday. We kind of got the 4 platforms here. But what is right around the corner, and we're doing it with some of our companies right now, AIPs. So what an AIP is, that's your Great American Rain in Hell. That's the companies. A lot of you have probably experienced this. I know I have in my past. You have a customer that realizes on Friday afternoon that they need to go see their banker on Monday morning, and TJ is going to ask them for some basic information, one of which is probably their schedule of insurance. They make a call to their agent on Friday afternoon. They may hear from them, they may not. More times than not, they don't. Why can't you just go to your phone and get that information? That is where we are going with this. So you'll be able to go right into the platform. You go into the My Insurance, click on your policy, get your schedule, get your APH, get all that information that's so important to you. Maybe two brothers are working in the operation, and hey, we haven't got a very good, Don, our stand's not very good on the home place. I think we might have a claim. Do you have any idea what type of coverage we have? How much our potential indemnity is on that? We want you to be able to just go to your phone and be able to find those things. So, stay tuned for more of this. One of our AI partners, we are helping build this out. Once we get it done, the expectation will be that they all help us with this information. Again, just a couple more snapshots. May have got ahead of myself here a little bit, but just summary of costs. All those things that are important to you. What did we have for coverage level? Oh man, we just picked up that 80. I know we planted it to beans. Man, we better make sure we get that on our acreage report. Just all this stuff that is important to you day to day, you should be able to see it on demand. This is always a fun slide. These are all the commodities for which we have written an insurance policy on. Yes, corn and beans is a big part of what we do, but we do just about every conceivable commodity out there. A couple ones that are kind of fun, as you can see, we work with a vertically integrated family that grows mint, peppermint, and spearmint from the field all the way into your chewing gum with Wrigley. So bamboo, we just wrote our first bamboo policy, vertically integrated family operation. They grow bamboo, they make laminate, they make linens, they make drapes, make linens, sheets and that type of stuff. So point here is just understand that we have the ability to insure it all. This is a big piece for us, having done this as long as I have. There was just only 4 or 5 commodities in the beginning for which you could get coverage. So livestock has become a big piece of our business. We all know that ranchers are very underserved. There's some really good products out there to help ranchers as well. A lot of acronyms in the crop insurance world. Just want to show these up here basically just to demonstrate that we have the knowledge and we have no fear in working with any of these products. One thing real quick I want to bring to mind is ECO, SEO. You may have heard that acronym getting thrown around a little bit. My challenge to each of you is make sure you're asking your agent to explain to you what your options are for ECO and SEO this year. The environment looks like it's going to be a year that it could be a product that would really be good for you. So ask the question. Obviously, if your agent doesn't know, go to someone that does know, call one of us. We'd have to have a conversation with you. Again, it doesn't work everywhere, but it is not one of those things that just because you're in Iowa, it doesn't work for everyone in Iowa or Nebraska the same. It's tailor-made. Each have to look at it and how it relates to your operation. Quick overview. Very, very fortunate. I've got 45 of the best crop insurance agents. We have W-2s, which are full-time employees. We have 1099s that also have other business ventures, but also do a very, very good job with crop insurance. We are centralized processing. Everything comes into a location to get processed. Those 15 folks are industry vets, underwriters, people that have done processing. They are familiar with their areas. If 25 bushel beans come in, immediately they're going to guess, no, that should be a 52, and someone has just simply flipped the number. So that's something else we pride ourselves on too, is finding out what the information is supposed to be. The holy grail for all of you is your APH, is your ability to demonstrate what your history is. You need to make sure that that is all in check. We are licensed in all 50 states, crazy number of experience on my team, and we have folks, multiple folks in some cases, that are very specialized in what they do. Want to touch on health here. Jody asked us just to put this up for everybody. The reality is she cannot get up here because of the line for health. So any health issues, unfortunately, producers, farmers, and ranchers are right up there below butchers and roofers when it comes to health insurance as a risk. This is a tremendous product with 4 different plans. It's available in all the states. You can write one employee as a standalone policy. The network is vast, it's nationwide, lots of different, different options. She put that in there. One thing that's we just went through as employees, November is big, enrollment time. You can do year-round enrollment on this, so you can go in and actually they're turning quotes, over the course of this, convention. So with that, that kind of wraps up what we had for presentations. Appreciate it. Please welcome any questions that you might have for finance or crop insurance, any of you.
Should have a microphone running around. If anybody has any questions, just go ahead and raise your hand. Happy to answer whatever we can. All right.
Do you have supplement insurance for people on Medicare?
I didn't hear what you said.
Supplemental for Medicare.
Stop down by the booth. And the answer is, I know the focus has been on health insurance for families because Medicare supplements are a little easier to obtain. But please stop down the booth. They'll know.
We do. I mean, there is supplement options. It just depends on kind of what makes the most sense for you.
Yeah. Okay. And that was on health insurance. He wasn't talking.
Yep.
Okay. I thought maybe he was talking about margin protection or other supplements. Okay. Yep.
Any other questions out there? Everybody's just wanting to eat. So, okay. If there aren't any other questions, appreciate everybody being here. Thanks for stopping by. I know finance and insurance are a necessary evil at times. Not everybody wants to talk about it, but you got to do it. So if you have any questions, feel free to talk to us afterwards or stop by one of our booths and engage us the best we can. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, folks. Hey, your lunch and learn session. So in a little while, we'll kind of let you know that we got to move things around and that kind of stuff. But the next one is the lunch and learn that's going to be here is Earth Optics. So it should be pretty interesting if you want to stop by for that.